Thank you so much for attending this presentation. I'm BlueEighthNote, and the topic of the day is about how to score higher in multiple choice questions. So, this video is primarily for people who want to score higher. You see, the multiple choice questions are actually testing how good you are at answering the questions, not necessarily how much you studied or how much you know. The amount of knowledge you know does not necessarily translate to how much you can score. Keep this in mind. Let's look at some example questions. I don't think this slide is necessary, but in a nutshell, depending on how the question is designed, various strategies can be used to deduce the correct answer to choose from, even if you have no prior knowledge of the subject presented. Okay, for students, taking exams sucked, but teachers often need a quick and lazy way to evaluate how students perform. And so the multiple choice questions are the easiest and most popular way to accomplish this. So certain concepts such as statistics, psychology, design principles, and how the test taker manages time will be crucial when dealing with them. First of all, statistics. It's not that complicated actually. Assuming the question has 4 options, then the blind guess will give you 25% chance to be correct. If there are only 3 options, that will be 33%. With only 2 options left, that will be 50%. Now, obviously, unless it's a true or false question, you'll rarely find the 50% chance of guessing correctly to be the case. However, you can make it happen. You can make it happen so that there's only 2 options left to choose from. Process of elimination. Instead of proving one of the 4 options is correct, try to prove that the other 3 options are wrong. Some options are clearly impossible, so just take them out. Take a look at the example question below. You immediately know that Arise is a rival group, and so that should be eliminated. And Catchu, it's actually a Liela subunit. It's just here to mess around because Ling likes cats. So, you probably know Umi's birthday is not on May, it's actually on March, so you can eliminate all the options as May. Doing so allows you to have 50% chance of answering, even if it's just a guess. Doing good so far? It's time to move on to psychology. For this one, humans are not truly random, because we try to find patterns even when everything is random. As a result, any long string of the answer options across many questions may look less random. A test maker who's not as experienced in making a quiz could end up having the correct answers concentrated in the middle, for example. Like the B and C options. Because suppose that A is the correct answer, then it might render the remaining hard work of the tricky options in B, C, and D moot. So the test makers may tend to avoid making A the correct answer. Now if D is the correct answer, the examinee might have already eliminated A, B, C, so it may look like choosing the middle one to be risky psychologically as you haven't read all the options yet, but by doing this, it somehow increases the chances that B and C have the higher odds of being correct. The bigger exams have robust designs to combat this by actually using some randomization techniques. But your average teacher in high school or even university couldn't even bother to spend the extra effort to make the quiz statistically unbiased anyways. Why would I know this? I once helped a professor design a quiz before. Obviously I can't leak the questions, but I probably could get away with showing the answers here because they look like random strings of text anyway. The professor said that there are too many options would be correct, so I probably had to randomize them. So I did it a lazy way by shuffling the options or moving the question orders a little bit so that there ended up being equal number of A, B, C, and D across the 30 questions. You see, what I actually did was to make this distribution look more random. Now, what does all that have to do with this bonus tip? Well, there is a tendency for the middle options to be correct. Let's look at these examples. The answer will be shown in 3, 2, 1, go. The test taker tries to see if you could confuse the real answer with the value above or below it, and usually they will put both. So, very rarely will the answer value be on the extremes, unless you know beforehand that the correct answer is either very large or very small. That aside, now that I touched on the extremes, absolute terms like never and always, you can exploit the fact that the probability of the statement being correct requires a lot of conditions for this to be taking place. Take a look at this question, for example. The only option here within absolute term is this one, never, option C, which means very likely that it is the correct answer. Which is why a smart exam maker might take advantage of that to make all options consistently contain absolutes. The drawback of this is that it's sometimes really hard to come up with wrong answers, and they have even more limited ways of properly putting those. In this example, the mere appearance of none of the above or all of the above makes them more likely to be answers since, again, they stand out. Finally, time management. You either know it or you don't. If you can't figure out the answer even after heavy time investment, just move on. You gotta be able to secure the questions that you know. Don't get too attached to any question that you struggle with. Time management applies to marking answers in the answer sheets as well, including your personal info if applicable. You see, I once had an experience of marking my school student ID wrong and ended up giving away an 80-point exam result. A flat 0 in that case. And it was a painful realization. Remember that at the end of the day, the marks on answer sheets are all that matters. Don't cry about it. So why did I make this PowerPoint again? Well, it's because your usual teacher wouldn't ordinarily give you tips on how to answer those questions, since they might end up creating shortcuts for students to bypass the needs for study. That fear may be unjustified though. If you manage to study just a tad bit more than the amount it takes for the teacher to design questions, then you should probably do fine those quizzes. I think that's enough for today. Thank you for your participation and good luck with your tests.